channel and because I'm putting up the prizes. But you can vote for whoever you want. But you'll have time to vote for it later. We're gonna do the pitches. Here's the process we're gonna do. We've got 3 pitches each. I've got 3 pitches. You guys got at least 3? Okay. Yeah. So we've got 3 pitches. We're going to do 3 rounds. We'll just go in a circle. And then maybe in between to break up the monotony, I have one that's a viewer submitted one. So with that, I say we'll just get into it. Does anybody want to go first? Anybody think they got a winner of an idea? I can go first since I'm already.
Hey, it's your channel. I'd feel rude to step in.
All right. So this is the one that I was sitting in my daughter's softball game last night as it was torrentially downpouring. I'm not sure I said the word right. But it was raining really hard and they're just sitting out there miserable. And I was thinking about Office spinoffs. So this is the one I kind of got excited about. And I called it Here Comes Treble. It's a workplace comedy / Glee-inspired musical starring Ed Helms, Ellie Kemper, Stephen Colbert, and Yvette Nicole Brown because I like her, and she could sing. We follow Andy as he balances living on campus and co-managing his former a cappella troupe with his rival. Aaron made the move out to Cornell land after the documentary wrapped, and Aaron and Andy started a long-distance dating relationship. Now, there's a will they, won't they? And then my tagline is, look out, here comes Treble, with all the high stakes of singing drama and college admissions.
I like it. It's a good pitch. What a great pitch. You got big stars. You're using existing material. Music is always great for comedy. Music is energetic, and Mindy Kaling's the one who taught me that anytime you put a song in a comedy episode, it energizes the performer. So your instincts are very strong there. You just won the Emmy for the best first pitch. Well done, sir.
Thank you. Yep. Everybody vote for Wolverine. Bill, you got any input?
I think it's solid. I enjoy musical episodes of everything. So the more music in a show, the better. It's a very controversial take for me. I know a lot of people don't like musical episodes, but I love them.
So, in fairness, the user Beard Up, Beard Down sent me a similar pitch called Big Red, which is an hour-long mockumentary dramedy. Andy Bernard loves his job at the special admissions advisor at Cornell University with years worth of personal growth and experience as Dunder Mifflin branch manager and viral sensation Baby Wawa. But he can't help but share his own unique brand of wisdom with the students and faculty alike. Takes on special interest at the music and theater program and sees the chance to steal the show at the biggest a cappella and be the biggest a cappella star on Big Red's campus. So I felt like I should credit Beard Up and Beard Down, even though he's always busting my chops on the Discord. All right.
Yeah, it's a really good idea. It doesn't surprise me that 2 great minds came up with it. I really like it. Super smart and fun. Really fun to imagine Ed Helms on a campus, and of course him singing so organic. You're both contributing really solid elements with the love story, and I like how you managed to cast Colbert and Helms together, with Ellie Kemper. Back up the money truck, people. We've got a winner.
All right, Bill, why don't you go next?
All right. So I didn't come up with any titles because I'm not a creative person at all.
I'll name it real fast.
Okay. So one of the ideas I had, I was talking with my boss about this, was a Chad Flenderman noir style show. Toby's based off of Toby's writing, like incredibly cheesy and like reminiscent of those old black and white noir private eye shows. And what could be interesting, I think, is if you did it in the style of he's either telling the stories to someone or he's writing them as it goes along so you could have some fun with the format of the show each time. As he like realizes like, I don't know if this works, and he sort of takes it back and rewrites it as he's going.
Oh, so funny. So funny. Oh, God. You know, Paul is a good friend of mine. I've known him for so long. He was a writer on King of the Hill, and he was literally the last person in the world you would ever put in front of a camera. You know, Paul cannot take attention. If people put him attention on, he blushes. He just has this blush reaction. And it was like a practical joke that Greg played on his own brother-in-law. Greg Daniels is married to Paul's sister, and by the way, there's no nepotism in Paul's career. He had his own entire career. He's a great writer, but Greg put him on camera, and it was such a remarkable thing because Paul was just paralyzed, and the other actors were so sympathetic. They said to him, because Paul didn't know how to act. They said, Paul, don't do anything. Now, this was Steve Carell, John Krasinski, all the actors. They said, Paul, just barely move your mouth. Just, the camera's really tight on you. Don't do anything. And so he did, and that became his acting style. And then over time, Paul so perfectly inhabited the character of Toby that by the end, Greg Daniels once said to me, he said, we have a lot of great actors on this show. But he said, whenever I'm in editing, there will be a moment when even Steve Carell gives me a performance and I go, oh, I can see that's Steve Carell. I don't believe that is Michael Scott. But he says, I never, ever watch Paul and think it's anybody other than Toby, which is an amazing tribute, right? Somehow Paul inhabited this. Okay, so I'm very amused at the Chad Flenderson noir. That's so funny. Paul introducing it each week. It's basically Toby's fantasy of a show. Welcome back to the Toby Flenderson Mysteries. Starring Chad Flenderson, it's a really funny parody where then Paul would play kind of a guy who can karate chop people and gets all the babes, and it's such a funny idea. I like it. You know what? You also get the Emmy. A lot of Emmys getting handed out tonight, but I would be a liar if I didn't say I like it.
Yeah, that's pretty good. It's pretty good. I think there's a lot of content that you could create from that. I would say sounds like a YouTube endeavor.
Oh, for sure. 100%.
But worthy of my attention for sure. Well, I love it.
YouTube's that's all I got the budget for.
I was thinking of the name for that. I wrote this I did on my channel a true crime thing with as though the Scranton Strangler was real, like it was an in-universe true crime series. And I was writing one day and I made up a book name, and I've been trying to remember what the name of one of his novels was. And I think I called it Confessions of a Housefly.
That's a good book title.
I like it.
I'm going to go with that if you don't have a better one. Okay. So Brent, what do you got? We're going to judge yours. You got one?
Oh, shit. Okay.
Did you think you were just judging?
Sorry. I mean, I've had some real, attempts here. Let's see. Not in a spinoff. I never had the opportunity to do a spinoff. But an Office-inspired show. Look at me. I'm coming off The Office. So legitimately, when I go out to pitch, I pitch variations of The Office. Maybe not technically a spinoff because it's not using the same characters. But I'll tell you one that I got really excited about. I've been working with Judd Apatow forever, and Judd has a new office building. I mean, he literally bought a building and renovated it, And then the pandemic hit in the middle of the renovation. So, it slowed it down, but he basically managed to get it done. And then the pandemic is kind of easing, and he's able to hire employees. And he does. He hires some assistants, et cetera. But what happens is, in the modern world, the top level people in business do not want to go back to the office. They just don't. They've learned that they can work on Zoom, and they keep the assistants in the building, but they don't show up themselves. So suddenly this became such a funny office style comedy to me, which is just about the modern workplace. I called it Workplace. That's the name of the show, which I do like as a name of a workplace comedy. And it's just about these assistants who are unsupervised, trying to fake productivity. When the wife of the boss comes in, that would be Judd's wife, if she were to happen to swing by, everybody fake works. But for the most part, they're in this weird kind of limbo society. So it's a character comedy, youth-based, naturalistic, like The Office, all new characters. Although I guess if you force me to put it in your spin-off contest, I would say take one or two of the characters that were in the Scranton office and put them in this new workplace, then entirely new. So you could take Phyllis, for example, whoever's a Vale. The top level people are not a Vale. You can't get Carell or Rain, but you can get, a lot of the lower levels, and maybe even in particular, Jake Lacey and Clark Duke, who you may remember them as the young people at the end of season 9. All right, how did I do, people? That's my pitch.
I don't have anything to give you. I have the Hottest in the Office award, if you'd like that.
I'm so glad I set this precedent of each of us giving each other statuettes on the basis of a pitch. This is really the way to do it.
I have a dog toy that my lovely dog, who's back there going crazy, is gonna start squeaking now that I touched it. I like it. I also, when you started talking, I was thinking it resonates because it's so real right now. I work for a big corporate office, and so there's still a lot of remote. There's still a lot of, we need you to come into the office. We need you to be here. We need you. And then, but then it's like when push comes to shove, is it really, but it does change the culture so much, so I think it's I like it.
Interestingly, Paul Lieberstein right now just finished shooting a pilot for ABC. Actually, it started as a pilot and it became a feature. This is what's happening a lot on streaming now. They need content. And so Paul's workplace show, I think I can share this as I'm just promoting it after all. The show is called Remote, and it basically is about, it was pitched as The Office on Zoom. It kind of became more than that because I sort of feel like at a certain point the execs felt that the novelty of Zoom, though interesting, became a little oppressive, that people got sick of Zoom. And so it sort of evolved as more than that. But anyway, that is truly an attempt at an Office style spinoff for ABC.
I like it. Okay, so one fan submitted one. Let's see. There was one submitted by someone named Mark D, and it was, I don't know if I'm going to be able to say this name right, but Schlofsky. So there's a little bit of the same woman who played if I'm remembering this right, the same woman who played the same actress for the chair model in the chair model episode of The Office is also the pageant queen in Parks and Rec. And I believe there's like one line in the Office episode where they say her name is Deborah Schlofsky when Dwight is looking at his, little paper and he says that she's deceased. So that's the setup for this. Deborah is an ambitious young pageant queen, Miss Pawnee 2009, and a catalog chair model. When she discovers corruption within the industry, she has to fake her death and live on the outside fringes of society, helping innocent townfolk fight oppression and searching for evidence that will take down the organization looking for her.
Cheers!
It's a bit much, but I love the creativity. That's
love
good.
It.
It's good stuff. Okay.
I like it. Very bold, very bold. Just on originality alone, and just love of an obscure character. Here's an artist who's like, I know what I like. I know people aren't going to think Chair Model's the most important spin-off character, but I like Chair Model.
The Schlofsky. Yeah. As soon as the email came in, I saw the name and I was like, why do I know that? That's the Chair Model, isn't it? And I thought that was pretty good. Okay. Yeah. Next round, my next pitch. I called this one Deep Roots. From his days in the grassroots to a quality assurance professional of a mid-level paper company, Deep Roots is a docu-series detailing the story behind Creed Bratton. Created by Creed good. Bratton, narrated by Creed Bratton, and stories told by Creed Bratton. Mm-hmm. Expect appearances from various Office documentary subjects to share their best Creed commentary. Deep Roots.
I like it, Chris. It's a really good idea. It's such a good idea. It's making me think that NBC would be so freaking smart to just go to all these guys and do spin-offs with their characters, right? Maybe that's the genius behind all this is Peacock needs content. The Office is popular. Those actors are freaking dying for a show. I mean, all actors are at all times. I like it. Maybe this is your sneaky secret plan is maybe someone at NBC will see this and give you a call.
Great. My contact info is in the About tab of my channel.
I really like it. I think that's such a cool idea. You could do it as a one-off, just do it as a fake documentary about Creed's history. Really cool idea. Love it.
My only worry is that Creed has lived such a wild life that we'd have to censor a lot of stuff.
For network.
Funny. Creed, the real Creed, of course, almost everybody watching this who's an Office fan probably knows this, but he really was a musician, and he does have crazy stories, and he really, it is in a weird way, he is a lot like the character in the sense of he's much sunnier. There's something kind of menacing about the character on The Office, but because the real Creed is like just a font of joy and sweetness. Kind of, he feels like a wonderful acid casualty a little bit, and there's something so charming and sweet about that. So
I'll plug his TikTok. He's on TikTok and he makes some joyous and also weird content on TikTok.
Chris, maybe you should reach out to him and say, I pitched a idea where, they do a documentary about Creed, through the ages, please go make it happen. Who knows? Maybe you'll get lucky and he'll take it to them. Cause God, it seems like such a good idea. There you go. You can see my sincere love of that idea. I think that's really, really awesome.
Awesome. You're up, Bill.
All right. So the next idea I had would be David Wallace sort of rebuilding Dunder Mifflin Corporate after the end of the series. He's learned from Michael that sometimes weirdness and looseness in the workplace is sometimes conducive of increased productivity. So he's kind of initially going around and recruiting people from different Dunder Mifflin branches to build his dream team, so to speak. Mm-hmm. And with this idea, you could probably see some cameos from different Scranton branch members, depending on availability. Kind of The Office meets Succession, except not nearly as dark as Succession.
Great. That's, you really won that little pitch contest at the end. Mm-hmm. The Office meets Succession immediately starts the wheels turning. David Wallace driving it. I think that's great. It's funny because the really winning winners here, if you're taking them seriously, do have some respect for availability of cast. And David Wallace is a real businessman. He's a very successful businessman. I forget what he does, but we could only ever get him, if he wasn't in Geneva or someplace, doing like high level deals. But he is a good actor, this guy, and I'm sure he would leave the world of business in a second to do your show. And I think that's really fun. I think the tone, the high stakes intensity that you're bringing to the tone is very fun. It's a good idea, super legit. You guys are still pitching winners. Keep bringing them.
I would, okay, maybe realism out the door here, but could we,
Sure.
I don't know how busy James Spader is at the moment, but let's add in some Robert California.
Yes. Yes. Bring in Robert California. Hey, quick Robert California aside. So at the end of season 7, when Steve Carell's contract ended on The Office, he was only ever supposed to do 7 seasons, but the show was so successful, it's going on without him. And of course, we knew we had to replace him, and there was a huge amount of discussion about who can possibly replace Steve Carell. The answer is nobody, but we tried. We thought, can we put somebody in? The top candidates ultimately were Robert California, but the other one was James Gandolfini. That was the other guy that Paul, who was the showrunner at the time, Paul Lieberstein, went and had lunch with Gandolfini and pitched him hard. Said, "Look, we want to bring you in. You're going to be the new head of Dunder Mifflin." And gosh, we came close on that one. You know, Gandolfini died shortly thereafter, so maybe we can pretend that that's why he didn't do it. But in truth, Gandolfini passed. He actually passed. He liked it a lot, but he had other stuff he wanted to do. There we go.
I read recently, and I'm not sure where the source was, but it was all over the place that that it was a podcast or something. But it was that that HBO had actually paid Gandolfini money to not take that role. Had you heard that?
I hadn't heard that. No.
Yeah, it was a lot of money. I'll dig up that link. I'll send it to you. I thought that was interesting.
Very interesting.
I
love intrigue like that. I mean,
yeah.
The TV industry is not a very dramatic place at that level. That sounds intriguing. Like, we'll pay you not to do this.
Yeah,
We'll sink the show rather than have you succeed there. I love it.
I remember if I remember right, the idea was let's not we don't want to like affect the Sopranos brand, by having him take on kind of a different vibe. Interesting. So in the last 5-10 minutes, Brent, you come up with something, or we just want to move on?
I can give you an anecdote, which is probably public knowledge, but I don't know how well people know this. When you look at season 9 of The Office, Greg was not certain that the show was going to end. He actually was thinking, let's keep this thing going, and how we'll do it is we will bring up a whole new generation. We know we're going to lose Jenna Fisher and John Krasinski, but maybe we can keep Phyllis and Oscar and the kind of mid-level Office people, and then we'll bring in new actors. So that's why Clark Duke and Jake Lacey were brought in. They were we're almost spotlighting it by calling them the new Jim and Pam when they entered the season. But it was part of an overt attempt to keep that show going another X number of years. So that's not a pitch, but it's an anecdote about the way that show was supposed to go. There we go. That's how I'm going to fill my time. I've handed back to the experts.
All right. You know what? I'd seen someone on the chat who did send me a suggested one. Let me see. Okay, what's that?
Let's hear it.
Okay. Man, and this person sent me 4 or 5 of them, and they're all kind of brief. I'll go through a couple of them. It's user Fluffy Pro. And I really enjoyed these. So the first one is called Knights of the Night. And when the Scranton Strangler returns, Scranton's true heroes are on the case. They investigate subjects of the PBS documentary, including their own former member, Dwight Schrute. It's a good one. It's funny.
I like it. I like the title. It's funny. It's exciting. Really funny to do a show based on the Knights of the Night. It's a very memorable Office episode, and then it takes you into crime and adventure and action. I think that's a really clever pivot. Bravo. Love it.
Yeah, I like that one. He had an idea for Advanced Refrigeration spinoff, one for an Action Moe's. Um, and then I liked this one because it was a little unique. It's called Wolf.com. After his failure with Wolf.com, Ryan finally finds some success running a virtual party planning service with his undefined relationship partner, Kelly. Do they have what it takes to be the world's best bosses? Does adding another P really prevent Ryan from being in a lawsuit for reusing the name he sold off? So it's Wolf with 2 P's, which stands for, and he provided me the actual acronym. Wolf with 2 P's is World's United Party Planning Hub Forum. It's a lot of creativity there.
Well done. Well done. I like it. I think that's really fun. It's flattering to see fans still playing games with these characters. My feeling is BJ is unavail. BJ is such an interesting guy. He is such a freaking pure artist. He will not do anything except what most interests him. And he just had a show where it was an anthology. It's just so BJ. He's just got to do what he wants to do. He's got a feature coming out that he just directed. And, of course, Mindy is in her own stratosphere. So yeah. I really like the idea. I think your performers are unavail. That's going to be your big challenge there.
Can't do it. And they had another really good one, but I'll get to that one in just a minute. So we're going to do our last round of pitches. And everybody on the stream, I have no idea how many people. I have not really been watching the chat. If you would like to be entered for the door prizes, which is there's 2 opportunities for homage t-shirts, which is some great stuff, or a Culture Fly box. All you need to do is go to the link in the description, click the Google Forms, fill out that thing, and vote for Chris as the pitch off winner. And then you don't have to fill it out until after we're done. But I just wanted to make sure you guys knew. You don't have to be on the stream to win. We're just that's why you leave me your email address. If you don't leave me your email address, I can't get in touch with you. Okay. Last round of pitches, and then we'll do some kind of maybe Q&A if you guys want to throw some questions. Where am I even at? Let's see. Okay, my last one. Okay, let's see if I can get this. Title: Boulder. Follow Michael and Holly as they raise a family together and balance Michael's new career as a motivational speaker. Episodes revolve around how Michael finds inspiration for chapters in his new book entitled Boulder, spelled with a U.
Like it. I mean, obviously that's unbeatable if you can get those 2 actors. That's an unbeatable spinoff, Michael and Holly. And I'm glad that you went there. It makes me wonder, when we're judging these, are we judging them on the level of fantasy or reality? I would say on fantasy, that might be your winner right there. It's really good. And I love that he's a motivational speaker. That's so funny. You're reminding me of a cold open we did once where this was BJ Novak's idea. They're having a conference, and I forget, they're watching some video, and Michael is mocking it, going, "Oh God, I could do much better. This is a terrible video. This advice is terrible. I can give much better advice." Then do it. Write a book. And so then we cut to Michael writing a book about business, and he's bragged so much about how much information he has, and the whole joke is just him going chapter 1, and he cannot think of anything. It's just like this extremely long pause. But it makes me feel like your motivational speaker career is really, really funny. He would think, of course, that he'd be great, and he would. The comedy of him trying to work up these speeches is so funny. I love it. A+. Now, I know I'm getting the opportunity to pitch, even though I have nothing, but I remembered there was an idea on the table. This is a freaking good one. Kevin Opens a Bar was a spin-off idea. I feel like we may even have alluded to it in season 9, you know, when we jump forward and the Office documentary has aired and now we catch up with the characters. At one point in those scripts, Kevin had opened up his own bar. I can't remember if it made the final edit or not, but it qualifies as a spin-off, and that's what people were thinking is maybe we do Kevin's Malone's bar, his little cheers with Kevin behind the counter. I pass it to you boys. What do you got?
All right, is it my turn?
Yes,
I think
sir.
it's your turn. I saw somebody say in the comments that there's something wrong with the quiz. So that's what I'm working on. I am paying attention, but
Sure. All right, so my last one is Robert California Takes Europe. We follow Robert California in his travels across Europe, generally being a creep. Each episode or few, we would see him basically wearing out his welcome and being permanently banned from more and more countries or cities as he goes along.
I like it. Oh, it's great. Oh my God, that's so funny. And I think there's at least a 9% chance that James Spader is like, yes, I will do Robert California in Europe. Spader is such an interesting guy. He's not unlike the characters he plays. You know, he's a bon vivant. He likes to live, and I can imagine, you know, if you promised him enough, you know, wine and food, that he would do that series, and I would definitely watch it. That is so funny. I think Robert California becomes funnier to me when you isolate him out of the office and just put him, you know, in Monaco. I like it. That's a great pitch. Really, really good on both the fantasy and the reality level. Great pitch.
Yes.
let me ask this, Brent, while I'm trying to figure out what's going on with my form thingy. So you said that Robert California, James Spader, was for sure one of the people you guys had in mind for replacing Carell, Michael Scott.
Yes.
What was the idea behind the kind of his more serious and kind of dark and very complicated character? What was kind of the idea behind that?
Behind the character of Robert California himself?
Mm-hmm. Like why go that direction?
You have to ask. I think Paul Lieberstein is the guy to ask there, because he was the one whose instinct was to hire Spader and to go to Spader. It was really Paul's idea originally, and I think he was cueing off what he was seeing in this performer. It felt collaborative. It felt like Spader was invited to contribute quite a lot himself, and you know that's just kind of where they landed on it. You know, the thing we were looking for in a replacement for Carell was someone who could cause trouble. That was the big thing. We learned it almost too late. You know, there's a period at which Ed Helms becomes the head of the office, and you'll notice that we struggled to use Ed as a story generator because his character, Andy Bernard, is so solicitous. He wants everyone to like him. He doesn't want to cause trouble. And so it made it harder to create stories. Spader was maybe somewhere in between Michael Scott and Ed Helms in that sense. He was unpredictable and a little menacing. And so in that sense, you know, the menacing side is meant to cause problems that give us stories, basically.
I like it. Okay. So you guys got to tell me if in the chat I fixed it. I think I fixed it. We'll fill a little bit more time here. If I didn't fix it, well, then you're going to have to send me an email, everybody, because I don't know what else to do while talking on a live stream and figuring something else out. So let me know in the chat if I fixed it. And
the link looks like it's working on my end. I just gave it a shot. You might need to refresh the page if it's not in the description.
Cool. So I got a couple other user submitted ones that were pretty good. The Malone's one actually was submitted by Beard Up, Beard Down. So that's a pretty good one. Yeah, sweet, it's fixed.
Mhm.
I'll read his description real quick. When the newly hired bartenders at Malone's turn out to be tech savvy social media influencer on the rise while attending University of Scranton's Kenia School of Management, did some research for that one. Bar owner Kevin Malone is fully thrust into the world of modern technology with his personal and professional lives once again on full display for the world to see. Interesting.
There you go.
A little
Great
social
find.
media, a little virility to that one. That's interesting. I like that. Okay, so user Annie submitted this one, which feels like more of a, like this should be on a DVD re-release or something. Annie said, we'll call it The Office Rewatched. It's a Google Box version of The Office. Get characters from the show sit in their living room with their significant others, sometimes their children, or Dunder Mifflin friends, and they watch or react episodes of the documentary from their lives. They can do all the episodes, and it would, everybody would be able to come back and do their kind of be in character watching themselves in the documentary, which I thought was really interesting.
I mean, I want to give props to that idea. It's super original, and yet it seems like it's within the vocabulary of shows that are done, right? People do commentary shows, and it's the single cheapest show to make in the freaking world. All I need are writers to write reaction lines from Oscar as he watches one of his episodes. And you repurpose an Office episode. I mean, I think from a business perspective, that's a fucking brilliant idea.
I thought it was pretty good. So good job, Annie. If you're on, there you go. Right from Brent.
Read you, I found two words. I'd mentioned to you both the other day that I woke up Saturday morning a little worse for wear after having gone out, and I wrote down some ideas. I managed to piece together two of the words that I had, which was The Office Babies, which I think I wanted to think was like a Muppets Baby parody. I'm like, I don't know how that works at all.
That idea was, what's so crazy is I remember that being written on a 3x5 card on the wall of the office. I don't remember what it referred to, but somebody had that idea. Yeah, I mean, obviously we couldn't do it on the show. I don't even, there were some joke ideas on those walls as well. But I love it. That's such a funny term.
That is pretty good.
How would you do it? That should be an animated show. I love it.
Okay, let's see. So, all right. I had another one that was when you said Muppet Babies. That one. This one is called The Office: How the Turntables? ? Join Computron in this animated adventure as he calculates all the possible scenarios that could have happened to the Dunder Mifflin Scranton branch. Many questions will be answered. What if Creed was fired instead of Devin? What if Pam married Roy? Where would Stanley go if he had a lighthouse that launched into space? Find out the answers to these questions and more.
Kudos on the title, How the Turntables.
Yes.
I was in CVS yesterday, and they were selling like a apron that had Michael Scott saying that, and I had completely forgotten that joke, which presumably has kind of memed itself. I remember the writer who pitched that joke. That was Jennifer Salata. And I remember that she was very proud of herself. And so if she happens to see this, congrats, Jen. You finally got the credit that you deserve.
Well, it's such a simple little joke, but it's very, and Carell says it in a way that I don't think I've ever heard anybody else say it. It's really good. I really liked this one for the title, and then playing off the whole Marvel has that What If series, and so it's an interesting path to get there. I like that one. Okay, let's see. We've got let's go through one more, and then we'll just we'll devolve. All right. This one was from. Oh, I'm sorry. I should probably say this. The Fluffy Pro was responsible for How the Turntables. So this is another one from Beard Up, Beard Down, called Better Call Nate. After being fired by former Dunder Mifflin former employer Dunder Mifflin, Nate ventures off on his own and begins a local handyman service with his just as hapless best friend, Ignacio, using his skills and lessons he learned from years of serving his former boss and personal hero, Dwight K. Schrute. Need your walls painted? Better call Nate. Need to get rid of a beehive on your property? Better call Nate. Need the toilet paper rolls re-spooled? Better call Nate.
Love it. I love that someone is writing a whole series for a character that was fairly obscure, but great, played by the unbelievable Mark Prush. I hope I'm saying his name right. You would think, I know this guy personally. I still can't say his name. You know who we mean, the guy from the vampire show, What We Do in the Shadows. The energy vampire. Mark is fucking unbelievable. If you don't know the story of this guy, please go research it. I'll tell you now what it is. Mark, his first acting job was The Office. Before that, he was a minor celebrity in comedy amongst great comedy consumers because he'd done this prank where he lives in the Midwest and he would call up news shows and he would say that he was an expert yo-yo guy and he would get booked on the morning news shows, which the morning news shows, they're ravenous for content. They're doing 5 shows a week. They've got to get guests. So you call in and say you're a master yo-yo guy, you get booked. And then he would go on and he would try to do yo-yo tricks and he can't really do them. And his whole patter is this very kind of sad sack, Midwestern guy. It's so fucking funny. If you haven't seen it, please go check it out. And Danny Chun, who was kind of the second in command under Paul Lieberstein, had become a rabid fan of Mark and said, we have to cast this guy. And that's how Nate was born. Mark's first professional acting gig was Nate.
So I had
somebody who I used to produce morning news in the Midwest. I've heard all kinds of just like horror stories. I've seen all the videos. And, like it gives me like I can feel like my heart like, oh God, no. Like I just hear these stories.
Well, somebody has a supercut of the Mark doing those. Hey there. Sorry, my dog almost knocked over my light. Doing those bits on local news. And one of the best ones is he goes through this whole thing and it is obvious, painfully obvious that he doesn't know he doesn't know anything about yo-yo. They cut to commercial. And when he come back, he's still there. Like they didn't cut him. They were like, well, we got to fill the void. We got to do something. All right.
Amazing.
That's a producer's worst nightmare. For the next, like, oh, I got 5 minutes to fill. Where you have another story. It's the midnight.
Okay, so I'm gonna do a little bit of data mining here. See who won. Who obviously, well, guys, I don't think I need to do a lot of number crunching here.
I won.
It looks like old Wolverine won, guys. No reason to even show the data. It's there. That's crazy. It is. It's everybody voted for Wolverine. Guys, you didn't have to do that. All right. So that's so funny. I tell you what, I am going to announce the winners of the door prizes. And then I'll send you an email later with the email you gave. Let's see. The winners we have is, and this is like Kismet because you're on this stream and you submitted things. Beard Up and Beard Down. Beard Up, Beard Down. You are one of the winners. Let's see, Megan C. You are one of the winners. And Fluffy Pro, you are one of the winners. So 2 of the people actually got on there. Love it. Okay, so cool.
Amazing.
Congratulations.
Amazing.
I am
good work, guys. Good pitches.
a couple days ago when we got together, I told you, I kind of gave you the little primer that people had sent me some really good stuff. I purposefully didn't read any of those so that I wouldn't, be too influenced. But I was very surprised. I thought everybody had some good stuff. Somebody did submit something like 4 or 5 hours ago, and I don't know if they didn't get my email or something, but it was a pretty good idea too, but I won't share it because they didn't give me the legal okay. Okay, so why don't we do this? Just if anybody's got any questions for these guys, we'll probably hang out on here for another 10-15 minutes. So I literally have not been watching the chat. I don't even know how many people are on the stream, to be honest with you. Probably not as much as about half of what we normally get on or fourth of what we normally get on the trivias, but that's cool. These will live on afterwards. So if you guys have any questions for Bill or for Brent, throw it in the chat. In the meantime, what do you guys got going on? What's new for you? What do you want to plug?
Bill, go first. I'll try to think of something and pretend I'm not chronically unemployed.
I put out my 2-hour video the other day, ranking every episode of Always Sunny. That made me want to pull my hair out because it was such a long video of just writing and watching and editing and voicing. I ended up just hiring a British guy that I found off Fiverr to do the last bit of voiceover because I was like, I just need to get this out.
Wow.
So it's that's out. Go watch that on my channel after this.
I'm gonna watch that on your channel after this. That sounds very interesting.
I got one on The Office too. Don't worry.
I can't wait, man. This is gonna be fun. I can't believe I have a whole new category of YouTube videos to watch. This is a big win for me.
Oh, I'm happy to help.
Yeah. I've talked about this before, but so Bill made a video years ago about how broke Michael Scott is. So he went through the series and kind of totaled up all the money that he spent on things that are frivolous and dumb. And he talked about how broke Michael is. And then he had how rich is Dwight Schrute, and kind of went into some of Dwight's finances. And I remember watching that thinking, man, I love this. This is amazing. And this guy's he's just writing things and he's just making videos. I want to do this. Inspiration.
I love it.
I thought you looked at it, you're like, oh, I could do that.
I could do that so much better. So my plug is next week I'll be dropping my own version of how broke is Michael Scott. Just kidding. I'm not doing that. It is funny. You were talking about Nate, Mark Prush, whatever.
Yes.
I should know it. I just said it because I am reviewing this next week. It was supposed to come out on Sunday. Sorry, everybody. It's not coming out on Sunday. The sex ed episode of The Office, which is Nate's introduction, the one where Dwight finds him outside the hardware store and gets him to come take out the wasp. So that's going to be pretty good.
Yeah, Mark is one of a kind. You're reminding me, because I couldn't believe it when I met this guy, and I had to ask him the story of how he had the courage and initiative to do this crazy prank, and did he know that it was going to make him break out? And he said that he did believe that it could be a breakout moment for him, but there was a moment before he did the first prank when he was in a hotel room and his alarm went off at 4:45 in the morning for this incredibly early morning show appearance where he's going to be the yo-yo guy. And he said he had a moment where he thought, am I really going to do this? Am I really going to do this? And he thought, if I do this, it may change my life. And he knew that he was just sitting there in that thing of like, if I don't do it or if I do it. And you know what? He hauled himself out of bed and sure enough, changed his life. He almost lost it at 4:45 in the morning.
A precipice he was on. That's crazy.
Yeah. I got a plug for you. I I mean, it's pretty much the only thing I ever plug. During the pandemic, I started teaching, and oh my God, who knows? Maybe one of your fans was in my last class, but the last class, I really thought I had a breakthrough in terms of a methodology for comedy writing. So I've taught classes now, typically a 5 or 6 week class. I've done this now 5 or 6 times. The last one, I felt that I really hit on a methodology because I've had people sending me their scripts. And in my last class, I decided to try to tell people the difference between the scripts they were submitting and the ones that, in my eyes, open the door when in the hands of a gatekeeper or showrunner, whoever that is, agent. Now, it's not clear when I'll teach again. I can only really teach when I'm not actively on a show. But when I do, the only way you can find out is sign up to my email list. My website is brentforrester.com. If you go there and sign up on my email list, when I teach, I will let you know. That is the best I can do as a self-promoter.
Also TikTok. Find out more on TikTok.
Oh yeah, the
too.
TikTok. Well, you guys got to tell me about the TikTok. I don't even consume TikTok. My young producer, Sammy, he said, you got to do TikToks. And so I made a ton of them. It's actually the closest I've come to feeling famous. People stop me occasionally and go, I like your TikToks. So if you guys give me the slightest encouragement, I'll start making them again. I just couldn't figure out what they were doing for me when I wasn't specifically promoting a class, but I'm open to doing it again. I really do like making them. They're fun as hell.
I think the idea is it's like an ancillary marketing source for you that is indirect, because I've tinkered around with them and I've had some go, and stretch real far, but it never really brings much traffic into where I really want it to be. So I don't know. And then sometimes it's just for fun.
Yes. Well, I think that's a good justification. It helps you develop as an artist, I think, to try to express yourself. And what better medium than like a rapid 30-second story? It's a great discipline, I think. Yeah, for sure. Okay. So I'll check the comments here. Got the gravel gang thing back. Right. So that was from a while ago. Okay. Let's see. Skip Rock Jr. said, did Brent write Steamed Ham's episode in 22 short films about Springfield? What a great question. No, I did not. I know specifically what I wrote in 22 short films about Springfield, a fan favorite Simpsons episode. That was the only one that I ever saw that was divvied up that much. I mean, we literally had the entire staff got, like 2 pieces of that one. The ones that I wrote in that episode were the bit where Smithers gets stung by a bee on his eye. And the other one, which I was quite proud of, was a bit where Homer has Maggie under one arm and the groceries in the other, and he goes to try to buy a newspaper from a kiosk, and he has to set stuff down to get it, and he ends up with Maggie inside the kiosk holding the newspaper and the groceries. As a physical bit, it was like, mwah, and it had a great punchline, which I didn't write. In my script, Maggie rolls up in the newspaper like a blanket, and of course, one of the Simpsons writers wrote a funny headline on the newspaper. It says, "Dead beat dad beat dead." Perfect.
It's pretty good. Let's see. Somebody asked, what's Brent currently working on?
Pitching a show to Apple in 2 weeks. Of course, I'm not allowed to say everything about it, but I can tell you that it's for Ben Stiller as an actor. Ben's one of the first people that ever gave me a job in TV. I've worked with him on and off ever since. I freaking adore Stiller as an actor. He is truly a classically trained New York actor who can do comedy, but it's always been his second gear. His secondary move was comedy. Anyway, I have the good fortune of he had an idea for a character. He brought it to Mike Judge, of all people, to direct. And the two of them, if you look at who they've worked with, like I'm the Venn diagram overlap. And so they came to me to write a pilot, which we're pitching to Apple in 2 weeks, which will be very interesting and exciting. freaking love what Apple is doing. Apple is trying to like outclass everybody. You know, last time I was at Apple, I go, "Are you guys trying to be the new Netflix?" They're like, "Oh no." They were so insulted by that. No. We're not trying to be Netflix. They're trying to be something classier. So that's my long answer to your short question.
Yeah, that sounds cool. A series?
Yeah, an 8-episode season is what I'm pitching them. You know, that's what I was saying. I'll go in with characters, secondary characters, pilot story, and then eight episode arc. And by the way, for all you writers watching, that's a document that I write out, approximately 5 single-spaced pages. I get all that out. Characters, secondary characters, pilot story, 8 episodes. So it's tight, but complete.
How often is that, like a pre-read kind of thing before the meeting, or?
Yeah, I think so. And by the way, there's no rules about this, but that feels like the way to go to me. Is they pre-read that, and then we come in. Now I have the advantage of going in with Ben Stiller and Mike Judge. So just then, and by the way, we'll pitch this on Zoom. So their faces will be there. Their charisma will be the spell that sells it, really. But my job is to deliver the material. An interesting aside, why does bad stuff get made? Because famous people are attached to material that isn't good enough. And everybody's like gets charmed by the celebrities, and they are too afraid to criticize the material, which they should. So my job as the writer is not to be swayed by the attachments, but to be, very rational about the material. And in service of that, I've written this document that is my part of the sale.
Oh, that's cool. That was interesting. I was
sure.
Curious how that process works.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. I don't know. I think we're kind of well caught up. I'm not sure if the stream is down or we still got some people on, but I don't know. I think it's probably a good time to wrap up. I want to be conscious of your guys' time. It's getting late here in the Midwest, but no tornadoes took you offline.
I'm good. No, yeah. If I got hit, that would have been a great stream.
We would have spiked. A terrible little cell came through here about 3 hours ago, so I don't know if that's what hit you. But all good. Okay, well, cool. Thanks, guys, for joining, and thanks everybody for streaming. Click those links in the description so that I can know that the links work, and that would be great.
Well, I would just like to say, in conclusion, I'm so impressed by all of those pitches. It goes to show that the kind of people who end up as rabid fans of good comedy, rabid enough to put on an event like this or to participate in it, you guys are in fact very rare. You're here because you recognize your talent, I would say. You know that you are smarter and better at this than most people. And the proof is in the pitches. Those were all really, really good pitches. I would say pretty much 100% of them struck me as having at least some legit element of quality. So I always like to remind artists, writers, that's me. I'm just you, but a little bit later down the game. And I remember before I had a job as a TV writer thinking, I have an intuition that I have talent and I want to prove it. And my feeling now is that if you have that intuition, you are correct. And that is my message to you all. You're all very, very talented. Nurture that talent. You deserve to have it validated. And good luck to you.
Love it. All right. Y'all have a good one.
Peace.